What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com, joined by not one, but two of the familiar faces to this channel. Brett Colson, Matt Peralt here. Guys, it is Super Bowl week. We are getting later in the week. We are starting to hone in on the bets we want to make, and today we are going to talk all props. We will have the full game breakdown tomorrow. Do not worry, we will have that for you guys, but today is nothing but props. And listen, there are a lot of props to choose from over on DraftKings, over on FanDuel, BetStars, and things like that. So we are going to get into our favorite ones and maybe hit on some of the other ones that we see out there that are, maybe can be exploited just a little bit on the channel here. Please hit the subscribe button. Please give us a thumbs up, and please let us know in the comment section which props either you're already playing or props that you're looking to play a little bit later. We certainly want to see kind of where people are looking with things. But Brett, let's start things off with you, man. What is one of the props that you were looking at, eyeing, that looks like you're going to get some action in on?
So I see this as more of a ground and pound slugfest than a shootout, especially on the Rams side. I really like the under 56.5 on the total. So I'm kind of approaching these props with that game script in mind and correlating everything around that story. So the first prop I'm looking at is the over on Todd Gurley, everything. This is my bet to win Super Bowl MVP. I love the narratives around his mysterious postseason. And, where has this guy been? But I think they're going to lean heavily on him in this game, partly because they're going to be forced to. I really like what Michael Lombardi said on the Behind the Bets podcast this week, that Belichick is going to try to force the Rams into a lot of third down situations, which means they're going to try to be aggressive with these receivers, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods on early downs. I think the product of that is going to mean more touches for Todd Gurley. So I like the over 64.5 rushing yards on FanDuel. That's minus 112. I really like over 13.5 rush attempts on FanDuel as well. And I like him to score the first touchdown at plus 700 on DraftKings. I think Gurley's going to be heavily involved early and all throughout in probably a slower paced game than people are expecting.
Peralt, what's your thoughts on Todd Gurley and Todd Gurley's props?
Okay, so you are banking a lot on Gurley being healthy. And yeah, I'm not saying he's not healthy. I'm just saying something's wrong. And what that is, I don't hate it. And one of mine actually is Todd Gurley getting over 63.5 at minus 125 at DraftKings. So I'm with you on him being force fed. But the one thing that Belichick does is he takes away what you do best. And Todd Gurley is their best player. So I really think the Patriots are going to make this a Jared Goff game. And, last year the Patriots were petrified of the running attack for the Eagles, and they made it into a Nick Foles game, and Nick Foles beat them. I don't think they feel like the receiving core or the quarterback are the same as the Eagles last year, and I think the Patriots are going to stop Todd Gurley at all costs. So I think he's under. I like the over on 63.5 for rushing, but total number of yards for Todd Gurley at 91.5 at minus 115, also at DraftKings. I'm going on the under for that. I think they'll force feed him. I like the carries prop, Brett, but I think you're really hoping that Todd Gurley is healthy. And if he's not, your whole storyline's in trouble.
I just feel like the uncertainty is baked into these lines a little bit, and there might be some value if he is healthy, because we really don't know.
Yeah.
I guess another one I like is, if you are uncertain about Gurley, then maybe just bet Rams. If you're like me and you like the Rams here, bet the over on total rushing yards for the Rams. It's 102.5 at FanDuel, minus 150. So you got to pay some juice, but I feel like they're going to get theirs on the ground in this game.
So I am on some Todd Gurley stuff here as well. As you can see on the screen right here, I kind of highlighted what Peralt brought up, Todd Gurley, the over 63.5 yards, where I'm going to go. And of course, guys, tons and tons of props here at DraftKings. You can see kind of how I'm navigating them on the screen here. And if there's additional ones under these little three dots, so don't think that there's more over here. So yeah, you got to keep that going. But one of the ones that I like here is going to be rush attempts in this game. And this is because we got total reception, boom, boom, boom. You just scroll down to right there, total rushing attempts. So the reason I like this one here for Todd Gurley, it is 12.5 at DraftKings. That's juiced to 134. It's 13.5 at FanDuel, and it's only juiced to 102, depending on how far you want to go with all of this and how but one carry is still pretty significant in these deals. But listen, Todd Gurley, I don't care how you picture this game is going to go. I'm just going to throw kind of script out the window and just look at what happened the majority of the season with Todd Gurley. He opened the season with 10 straight weeks of 13 or more carries. So that would have gotten you the over on this bet. 10 straight weeks to open up the season. Then against the Chiefs on the 19th, he had 12. That was a shootout game. That's the game he got hurt and missed the next 2 games. So he was damn near there anyway in the game that he got hurt, in a game that ended up being a shootout back and forth with the Chiefs on there. Came back when he was healthy after missing 2 games, 23 carries against Detroit. Then he only had 11 carries in that 15-6 horrible loss at Chicago. But again, right there again, 11 carries in a game where it was just a really off game for that whole Rams team, top to bottom. 16 carries against Dallas in the divisional round. So this is a guy that has pretty much all season gotten more than 12 and a half carries here. And I understand that this is going to be that CJ Anderson is going to siphon off a few carries from him. But I do believe that this is 2 weeks to get healthy, getting back to what you came here. Do you want to be the Rams and lose the Super Bowl because you gave the ball to CJ Anderson too much? Or do you want to be the Rams and lose the Super Bowl because you tried to feed your best player and it just didn't work out? I think that he gets fed in this game. I like the over 12 and a half. You do got to pay a little bit of juice here at DraftKings. You can see over on FanDuel. You can certainly find it at 13 and a half with a little less juice, but I'll pay the extra juice for that whole carry because I think that whole carry is pretty significant there. So over 12 and a half for me on Todd Gurley when it comes to carries.
He's going to get 20 carries, so that's not going to matter.
20 carries.
Just saying.
Yeah. So there you go.
14. If they're down 14-0, he getting 20 carries.
Oh, they'll be up. They'll be up. They'll be up.
Hey! We're gonna save that for another one. All right, Paul. What's one of these props that you kind of had your eye on?
So I'm the resident Patriot fan, in case you don't know this, but So of the past 8 Super Bowls for Tom Brady and the Patriots, they have scored a grand total of 3 points in the first quarter. That was last year against the Eagles. For whatever reason, the Patriots, they're the road team here, so they're wearing white. They'll call heads or tails. They're going to call heads, by the way. They call heads every time. So Slater will call heads. If the Patriots win the toss, they're going to defer. Unless Belichick gets real crazy, but he almost always defers. So the first possession will go to the Rams. There's a real good chance the Rams are going to have the lead after 1 quarter. So I like the Rams leading. And depending on where you're looking here, I mean, I've seen it as -1. I've seen it as a pick'em. I've seen it at -0.5 point for the Patriots. Take the Rams to lead after the first quarter. I think DraftKings, it was plus 155 for the Rams to lead on a 3-way with the tie being available for that. So I think the Patriots will be down after 1 quarter, and it'll be a typical historically slow start for New England against the Rams. So I've already played that one. I'm taking the Rams. And I've also seen there's a sharp play here in Vegas that I heard someone put $25K down on an alternative spread for the Rams -3.5 after 1 quarter. And they got that at plus 210. So there are some sharp, larger wagers coming in with some first quarter action for the Rams.
Yeah, right here, as you can see on the screen at DraftKings, you have the Rams at plus 155 to be leading after quarter 1 right there. So definitely can get that. The tie is let's see here, plus 300. So plus 300 on the tie there. But yeah, I can certainly get behind that. I mean, like you said, they're a little bit of if you expect them to get the ball first and you expect the Patriots to maybe get off to the traditionally slow start, of course, that would certainly be a play that you're looking. So Brett, I'm going to play off of kind of one of the props that you and I, obviously, if we think that Gurley is going to be the featured back in this, then a correlated play here is to take the unders on some of these CJ Anderson props. And so for me, CJ Anderson rush yards is at 46.5 at DraftKings. So if you go over here again, you gotta go over here to the little 3 dots and you click on the player props, running back, wide receivers, and then total rushing yards. You can see right here, CJ Anderson is listed at 46.5. I'm going to be taking the under in that one. Now that is juiced to -143. I think there are a lot of people out there who maybe are of the same mindset as you and I, Brett, whenever we take a look at this. But yeah, one of the things though that I did find when I was doing my research here, and I'll pull this up on the screen as well, is you can take a look at the rushing yards. If we go to rushing yards for CJ Anderson over on FanDuel, and they have that at 41.5. So if you want to try and middle this thing between DraftKings and FanDuel, you can. I mean, 5 yards is a lot of yards. I mean, like it could fall in the middle there for sure. So over on FanDuel again at 41.5. I don't hate the trying to middle this thing. Of course, like we do a lot of these props just for fun, not necessarily to try to make money. But you know, when you see a 5-yard differential like that, probably not the worst thing in the world if you want to try to get a middle out of that thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you agree on the CJ Anderson unders in relation to the fact that if we like the Todd Gurley overs?
Yeah, absolutely. It completely correlates with what I talked about with Gurley. So yeah, I'm definitely in on that. Yeah.
What's your what's the next one that kind of caught your eye there?
So just staying with that kind of correlation, I like the under on Brandon Cooks receiving yards, 69.5. It's plus 105 on DraftKings, which is pretty nice. I feel, I don't like betting overs. As nice as that Gurley, those props look, I hate paying all that juice. So I definitely want to find some unders. And this Cooks one is one that I really like a lot. You can also get 72.5 at BetStars at minus 115. I like both of those though. So, as we saw a couple weeks ago with the way the Patriots handled Tyreek Hill, Belichick is going to take away the home run threat. You're not going to beat him with splash plays. And, Cooks, of course, could hit this in one play, but I just don't think the game is going to play out that way. Don't see him having a big impact in this game late if the Rams are leading, which I imagine they will be. And he's struggled with man coverage this year already. So I think he's going to see a pretty healthy dose of Stephon Gilmore. So I love the under on Cooks receiving yards, 69.5 at DraftKings.
Yeah, plus 105 on that. And as you mentioned, I mean, when you look at Brandon Cooks, and we all kind of have some bit of Brandon Cooks in our lives here. I mean, of course, with former Patriot, of course, former Saint as well. One of the things, I mean, he is a speedster for sure, but not known as the most precise route runner out there. Like you said, going to be facing a lot of man coverage in this game. And this could easily be a defer to Robert Woods type situation, defer underneath type situation. So yeah, under 160 and getting plus money on that. I don't mind that either.
Okay, but I'm going to warn you on this point. Okay, the Patriots are going to stack the line and take away Todd Gurley. All right, so they're going to step up with their linebackers. They're going to have Hightower within 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, and they're going to probably pinch their safeties down as well. Goff's going to have a chance to throw the deep ball over the top, and they'll take the shot early in the game. They did it late against the Saints. They'll do it early against the Patriots. And that would be my only fear with Brandon Cooks, because he's the guy they're going to throw it to. And realistically, Higbee's the guy that came in to replace Cooper Kupp, but has not done a very good job of doing it with this offense. And without Cooper Kupp, the short intermediate passing attack for the Rams has really been non-existent. It's been all home runs. It's been big plays down the field to Cooks. So that would be my only hesitation and Brett, you said it, one big play could wind up flipping that prop to the yes.
Well, hopefully it's a pass interference. We'll just hope for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of those deals is with all of these props. Again, we mentioned that, typically you're trying to do these for fun. It just gives you a little extra sweat in the game and stuff to kind of pay attention to as things go. With any of these, certainly like one play could just completely shift and throw everything off. So we're playing kind of that. We're kind of playing that mean median, like.
Well, if you're all about Gurley, though, if Gurley's what you think is going to happen, the Patriots are going to pinch down even more. So if Gurley's getting going in the first in the second quarter, that's where the big play over the top comes in, and that's where you got to be concerned. If just from a prop perspective, because Cooks is the guy. Woods is not going to take the top off the way that Cooks is.
No, Woods has played outside. I mean, of course, he moved inside after the Cooper Kupp injury, but has played outside for these guys, and he's certainly not incapable of catching a ball down the field or anything. But I mean, I just think that if we're playing kind of the law of averages here and the way that we think that this is going to play out, I do like the under on that as well. All right, Peralt, what's another one you've been looking at?
Okay, so James White, let's go back to a couple of years ago against the Falcons, where James White caught the ball for 110 receiving yards and ran the ball 29 times, had 139 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was not the MVP in that game. Tom Brady even said afterwards that James White should be the MVP. Total yards, 69.5 at minus 115 for James White. I know overplays on prop bets can be a little square, but they're going to have to move the ball on the outside, and James White's the guy coming out of the backfield that I think is going to be utilized. So I like him with receptions, receiving, but total yards in particular at 69.5 for James White. I don't know if he duplicates what he did against the Falcons, but he's going to be probably, I think, the prime offensive threat for the Patriots, other than potentially Julian Edelman.
I'm going to do you one better on that because I have this on my list here, and I'm going to take the over at 66.5 over on FanDuel. So I'm going to take the three extra yards and take the over at 66.5 total yards there for James White. When you look at this, he went over that total in 12 of 18 games this year, went over the 66.5 yard threshold there. There were 2 other times where he hit 58 and 59. So kind of right on the precipice there of that. Now I do understand that there were times throughout this year that they were playing without all 3 running backs healthy, and now they are looking at a situation where there are 3 running backs healthy there for this team. But James White doesn't really get the majority of that on the ground anyway. This is a guy that gets you the 20 to 30 on the ground and then gets the rest through the air for you there. You're not really worried about that. As long as he can get his 8 to 10 rushing attempts, kind of 6 to 8 rushing attempts, then you're feeling pretty good about that. And then with the reception, Brett, I don't know how you feel about this, but I do feel as well, like with the pass rush that's going to be coming from the Rams, where I think that plays to a lot of these kind of dump off passes to James White, even designed kind of just over the middle short passes to James White. It would not surprise me to see him get 8 or 9 catches in this game. And at 66.5 total yards, again, we throw in the handful of rush yards that he's definitely going to get, and then you rack up those 6 to 8 receptions. I think it's a decent bet.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what the Patriots should do. Just looking at what the Rams have at that second level, how are these guys going to cover James White? And James White's been Brady's guy in these big spots, so I don't see that changing.
Sony Michel doesn't catch passes, so I mean he's not in there. He's not in there to catch passes. He's not whatever. So like any sort of passing downs, any sort of anything. I mean, yeah, Rex Burkhead might get a catch in this game, might get one, but like the catches are going to James White. Yeah,
and this falls in line with what I see as far as the script goes. If the Patriots are playing behind, White's going to be on the field. So I like this one a lot.
Yeah, well, I think White's going to be on the field primarily. I think he's the guy they're going to lean on, up or down. Burkhead may be your thumper, your third and short back, or your goal line back. But I think for the primary, I think the Patriots are going to be with 2 and 3 wide receivers in shotgun with James White right next to Brady for most of the game. I mean, Matt's right. The number one fear for the Patriots in this game is Aaron Donald up the middle, getting after Tom Brady and making him make mistakes and causing sacks and fumbles. And I think James White, from a screen game, from a draw perspective, I think he's going to get a ton of action. And as you can see on your screen here, guys, if you do want to play this, it's 69.5 juiced at 115 over on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, it's 66.5 and it's only 108. So definitely, if you want to play that one, head over to FanDuel. You get 3 extra yards and it's juiced lower over there for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Brett, let's hear a prop from you, my man.
All right, so here's my long shot prop of the game. Player to record the most sacks on DraftKings. I'm taking no sacks in this game. 20-1.
I like it.
Patriots #1 in the NFL in adjusted sack rate, pass protection. Rams are #5. There's nobody better in the NFL than Tom Brady at getting the ball out quickly. Also elite at getting rid of the ball without putting the team at risk of a turnover or even a sack. Jared Goff, not so great, but I'm sticking with the story here. This is going to be a ground and pound game for the Rams. I don't see him dropping back a lot here. He was sacked just over 2 times per game during the regular season, around league average, but he's only taken 1 sack in the 2 playoff games. And Tom Brady has taken exactly 0 sacks in the postseason. So give me the 20-1 on no sacks for either team in this game.
Wow. Hey, and you like the Rams? And with that scenario, it's the Rams with no sacks.
Look, this is a 20-1 shot.
Right. Right. I mean, that's that's what
your narrative. I thought, right?
Yeah, like I like that. I like that as well.
It's a Hail Mary, sure.
Let's talk about some of these. I think that are going to be popular that I'm kind of on the opposite side of here. Like, I'm under on all things James Devlin. I believe that it's going to be a very trendy thing for people to take overs on James Devlin. But as we just mentioned, 1, we think James White is going to be incredibly involved in this game. 2, they have 2 other healthy running backs in Sony Michel and in Rex Burkhead. There's just not a lot to go around right there for Devlin. Look, I understand he's fun. It's cool when he gets the ball and everyone wants to root for that guy to get the ball. However, I've seen, 2.5. I've seen 2 receptions, 2.5 receptions, even 1.5 receptions. I'm still taking the under basically on all these things, yardage totals, all the everything with him. And if you're going to do that, I think you kind of wait and do that until basically game day, because the over bets on all of these weird player props and weird whatever are going to go up over the course of between now and Sunday, because as that casual money starts flowing in, everybody's going to bet the over on all these, especially James Devlin. So just hold out and then take the under on all things James Devlin.
Unless you're going to bet a touchdown for James Devlin. That would be the only thing I could see them on a 3rd and 1, quick snap, handoff to Devlin, touchdown. He's not going to be part of the offense. He'll be a blocking back, but they're not going to put the ball in his hands in key moments. That would be very, very surprising.
Yeah, I believe that definitely as well. All right, Peralt, what's another one that kind of caught your eye?
All right, so let's go Brady versus Goff completions here. Mm-hmm. So my narrative is that Brady dinks and dunks all day long here, and Jared Goff's going to try to go for the home run, hand off to Gurley, and then the home run hit, the 15-plus yard completions down the field against the Patriots sucked in defense. So for that, Brady with more completions than Jared Goff is minus 159. I know it's juiced up a little bit, but I'm going to be floored if Jared Goff winds up with more completions in this game than Tom Brady. I feel like that's almost an automatic just because of the offenses and the way that they're run for Brady to have more completions than Jared Goff will on Sunday.
I agree with you there as well. I think that whenever we look at this game, I think both of these quarterbacks here. Another one of the things that I like as well is the interception. Just under for interceptions for these guys. Like I just think that this is one of those games that'll be played pretty cleanly here, and I think that the game plan for the Patriots is certainly going to be more of the quick dink dunk stuff down the field. And this is one of the things we've seen with Belichick throughout his entire career, and we've even seen it through the course of the playoffs here, is he will take what the defense gives him. If they decide that they want to, listen, we could be completely wrong. If the Rams come out and figure and have everybody playing within 10 yards, of the line of scrimmage, and they're gonna give them these bombs down the field, well, listen, this could all go to hell. But a lot of times we just see that these Belichick teams take what the defense gives him, and I think that we could see that in this game as well. So certainly can be with you there on Brady. I think Brady probably has a fair line of Brady is probably having 4.5 more completions, I think, than Goff. I think that's probably a fair line. So yeah, I certainly think he has more as well. I mean,
he had over 40 2 years ago, and granted that was an overtime, but he had 28 last year with 505 yards and 3 touchdowns last year throwing against the Eagles. And if Jared Goff gets to over 24, I will be surprised. I like the under on completions for Jared Goff as well at 24. I'll take the under on that one. I just think it's their defenses are set up much differently as to how often they're passing and what type of chunk yardage they're looking for in their passing attack. The Patriots basically throw to run half the time with James White out of the backfield.
So, Brett, we've continued talking about, let's continue talking about players here. And one of the guys that I want to go to, and I'll bring it up on the screen here. We're going back to player props and click on running back, wide receivers, and then go to most receiving yards, or go to receiving yards, total receiving yards. And click on that, is Cordero Patterson. And Cordero Patterson
14, right?
is listed at 14.5. And the under is minus 108 at FanDuel. It is under is 106 over at DraftKings. This is a guy that averages about 1.7 targets a game. And so basically he is going to have to get his one catch, and it's going to have to be for 15 yards because that's all he's going to get. He gets about a single catch a game. Now, could that one catch be for 27 yards down the field? It could be, but we're going to play the law of averages here, and that most people's one catch doesn't go for 15 yards, especially Cordell Patterson, whose one catch is usually some sort of like bubble screen or some sort of thing where they just try to get him the ball very quickly and create some space and have him do his thing. So I'm taking the under on 14.5 for his receiving yards here, and I feel completely fine with doing so.
If he's in the game, he's going to run the ball. I mean, they used him way more as a running back this year than they did as a receiver, and his real weapon is in the kick return game. In particular, in a game like this where Brady's going to be looking for his sure-handed, surefire guys, I mean, Patterson's going to have to be wide open without anybody within 10 feet of him for Brady to trust him right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, Brett, listen, yes, there are weird scenarios where maybe one of the receivers gets hurt in the game.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, and then he has to fill in as a receiver. Sure. And then that's going to blow things up. But again, we have to just kind of play the law of averages in these things. And a guy that gets one catch a game, I'll take my chances on the under of 14.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's don't get sneaky. Like Brady has his guys in these high, he's going to go with a James White. He's going to go with an Edelman. I don't see them drawing up plays for Cordarrelle Patterson. Like you said, 1.7 targets per game. No, I don't see it. And this kind of goes with the James White over receiving yards with me. They kind of correlate. So give me the under on Patterson. Give me the over on White.
There we go. I like it. Look at, we're agreeing on a lot of these things here. This is
Philip Dorsett's not, I mean, what's Philip Dorsett? He's like 45?
No, 29.5.
29.5. That's another one. I think you can go with the under on that. I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe he gets targeted a couple of times, but again, I mean, we're talking about, option 4 and 5 for Brady if you have Dorsett and Patterson out running routes.
Now, we did a whole video, and I'll get to your next one here, Brett, in just 1 second, but we did a whole video on MVP, so we don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but I know it's a very popular bet, so just wanted to bring it up on the screen here so you guys could see how it kind of looks over there at DraftKings. This is the odds, of course, very short for the quarterbacks here. Brady at 110, Goff at 200. The reason for that would be of the last 20 Super Bowls, 13 of the MVPs have been quarterbacks. So that is the reason for that. It makes a lot of sense. 7 of the last 9 have been quarterbacks as well. And pretty much if you think whichever team you think is going to win, that's the guy that you should pick to win the MVP if you want to go that route, because it never ever goes to a losing player anymore. That has never been more evident than the fact that Kurt Warner threw for 377 yards and 3 touchdowns in a losing effort and did not get the MVP. Yeah, so
San Antonio.
Yeah. So that is certainly going to be the way that this breaks down. Real quick,
but don't
guys,
forget on the James White thing, because we talked so much about James White. There could be some "we owe you one" coming down to James White after 2 years ago with 3 touchdowns. He should have been MVP.
Yes.
Brady was MVP. The media may give it to. There may be a running back if the Patriots win. James White might be owed one.
Bring on the narratives. I love it.
Plus 28, plus 2,800 on DraftKings over there, and let's find James White plus 2,500 over on FanDuel. So you want to take that over on DraftKings if that's the way that you want to go with that. But again, I know that's one of the popular bets, so we at least wanted to touch on it. But in the description below, we'll put the link to the entire video so you can click and take a look at that. All right, Brett, what's another one that you kind of feel like you're going to get a little bit of an edge with?
Well, you guys got the James White over already. So, I mean, that was one of my big ones. I guess another one that kind of correlates there is Julian Edelman under. I love Nickel Roby-Coleman. I think Edelman is going to struggle a little. He's a good slot corner. I see that looking good at me. I do like Nickel Roby-Coleman though. I'm going to take
When's the last time someone like Nickel Roby-Coleman ran his mouth and Brady didn't torch him?
I didn't see that as running his mouth.
Whoa.
Though. I thought there was a little compliment there.
There's going to be a fire emoji over him for the entire game. The Patriots are going to light him on fire on Sunday.
It's possible. If they're smart, they're not going to though. I think they need to attack Marcus Peters and kind of get chunks of yards.
With who? That's the problem. Because Aqib Talib's size would lend you to believe that they're going to split Gronk out wide and make Aqib Talib guard Gronk. And then you're going to have Marcus Peters on who? Philip Dorsett? That's the problem. That's why I think the Rams have a matchup problem. They don't match up well versus the Patriots because the Patriots don't have a traditional wide receiving core versus a team like the Saints. It made a lot of sense. So they matched up well with Thomas and they could take Thomas out of the game. Patriots don't have a Michael Thomas. They don't have anybody like that. So their talent in the secondary is kind of wasted because the Patriots are going to go up against that zone defense that they're going to run behind the power front defensively and dink and dunk up and down the field. So that's why Edelman and White, those are my 2 favorite props in terms of having really big games on receptions and yards because of how the Patriots attack zone defenses. Look at the Steelers. Brady's best numbers are against the Steelers, who do nothing but play zone in the secondary behind a power front that tries to stop the run.
Well, where do you see Gronk fitting in there then? Because Gronk's had a lot of success against these types of defenses as well.
Correct. In the red zone. That's the prop I was going to go with next. Okay. On DraftKings, Gronk is 50.5 yards at -143 for the over. I forget what the under is, but I would take the under on that.
Under plus 108 actually. So you're getting plus money on that.
Yeah, I think Gronk's going to be a red zone target only, and I think Brady's going to stay away from Aqib Talib, and he knows what Aqib Talib can do. He played with him in New England, and he played against him in Denver, and he understands what that guy's capable of doing. He wants no part of Aqib Talib, and that's where I think the Patriots take him out of the game by splitting Gronk out wide. But I mean, look, we saw it with the Tony Romo. There's Gronk. They're throwing to Gronk thing all during the AFC Championship game, predicting that play call. But I think I agree with the narrative that this is Gronk's last game. The way that Gronk is talking, I don't think he's even close to 100%. I think he's a red zone threat, and I think that's about it for the Patriots.
Gronk's receiving yards is 55.5 over on FanDuel. So again, another middle opportunity if you want to go that route. 50.5 over on DraftKings, 55.5 over on FanDuel. So again, looks like these guys are going to stick to whatever they started with some of this stuff here, and maybe we can take advantage of that as bettors. One of the ones that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and we haven't talked about BetStars really at all, but over here on BetStars, the longest field goal is listed at 45.5 yards. Longest successful field goal at 45.5 yards. We have two really good kickers. We have them kicking indoors in a dome where they've done a bit of research in it. There's at least a anecdotal amount, granted small sample size here because that stadium has not been around very long, but small sample size that the ball actually kind of flies a little bit there. The touchback percentage inside that dome is actually a tick higher than most other places. So there's a little bit of inkling that maybe the ball flies a little bit better there. But again, we've seen Greg the Leg. We know that they're not afraid to trot him out from pretty much any distance. And listen, on the other side of the ball, Gostkowski can do it too. So, I mean, like, we've got two good kickers here at 45.5. I would hammer the over on that basically all day long.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do we know for a fact the dome's going to be closed? Do we know that yet? The night game, poor weather in Atlanta on Saturday and Sunday.
I would assume it's going to be closed. Isn't it like negative 12 degrees over there right now or something?
Not in Atlanta, no. I mean, a little further north it's that, but not in Atlanta. It's not going to be. But there's going to be some, because they've been saying that people going to Atlanta may not get out of Atlanta on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday just because of the weather coming in with the sleet and the rain. So, but I'm pretty sure the dome will be closed. So you got perfect conditions. Gostkowski's got a lot of pressure on him in this game because the Patriot fan that remembers Adam Vinatieri fondly knows that when that guy was up there to kick a game winner, it was automatic, even in the snow. I don't know what to make of Gostkowski, but I think you're right about a 51-yarder, 52-yarder. I'm guessing Belichick would be fine with letting him go out there to attempt that. And Zerline's got my goodness, who knows where he'll be kicking that ball from, how deep that he'll get to kick it. And I mean, that kick against the Saints would have been good from what, like 70?
Yeah, it was one of the most booming kicks I've ever seen in my entire life, which is why another thing, any like touchback props are like no, like if you can find anything out there of like no returns whatsoever or something like that, I think that's actually a decent, way to go as well. But again, 45.5 over on BetStars. If you want to take advantage of that, I think that's probably a pretty good one. Brett, I don't know if you've dug into the kicker props, but how do you feel about the kicker props there?
Sure. If I really wanted to bet a kicker prop, I would just go under everything because I don't like kickers. What's the latest on Zerline? I saw something about him being ill today.
He's a kicker. He can puke and go kick.
Right.
You would think, yes, but
puke and go kick. I like that.
Yeah, I did see the first kick touchback. I think it's -200 or something like that. Even though you got to pay a lot for it, I think that's pretty much a lock.
Well, how do you guys feel about that though? I think that's a great topic to get into because like, if you talk to sharp bettors who look at props, like they don't care about, I mean, these guys have much larger bankrolls than your recreational player, but a safety, the no safety is -1200 to win 100. I mean, how do you feel about laying tons of juice for something that you're almost guaranteed that it's gonna hit?
Value is value, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that it's. I think the people watching this video, like normally we would go through all of those bets where they're like almost like near locks, but I don't think people watching this video, if you do have that type of bankroll and you're watching this video, hey, by all means, like give us a call. Like, well, we'll do something about it. But, if you're not dealing with a 5-figure bankroll, like betting those, I think is probably not your best option, because like those guys are betting to make money. Like if you're betting those type of props, like you're betting to make money. I think a lot of people are betting these props to enhancement of the game, enjoyment of the game and stuff. And so, which is why on the screen right now, I have up the Gatorade color dumped on the winning coach.
Here's the Matt Brown special.
I do have this pulled up. This is at DraftKings. It is clear or water is plus 200, green is 300, yellow is 300, orange is 350, blue is 500, red is 700, purple is 1,000, and any other color is 500. However, we did some super sleuthing with this, and I went in and just started doing a bunch of Googling, and somebody asked Todd Gurley on the Twitter machine, what is the preferred flavor of Gatorade on the sideline of the Rams? So if you think the Rams are going to win, Todd Gurley actually answered this person who sent out this tweet and said Ice Punch. Now, Ice Punch would lead you to believe like, oh, it's red.
Blue?
Ice Punch is
blue,
clear.
Oh, it's clear.
Ice Punch is clear. So not only do you get water, but you also get the Gatorade flavor that at least Todd Gurley told someone on Twitter that they like. I mean, now, whether he was joking, whether he
might have been trolling, but yeah.
But still, we're going to use, because this is a highly scientific prop.
Why not?
This is a highly scientific prop, obviously, and so, yeah, we're going to use the little bit of evidence that we have, and we're going to roll with clear water for plus 200. Brett, you seem more like a purple at plus 1,000 guy type of guy.
Oh yeah, give me the long shot. if it's anything fun, just give me the longest odds, and we'll just have some fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. So another one of the let's getting back to what we do talk about here. One of the props that's super popular as well is just first touchdown scorer. In a game that is one of the big popular that goes on. And it's a super fun prop anyway. You're sitting around with your friends and they're wondering why the hell you're going crazy because someone scored first and you're like, yeah, so let's start with you, Peralt. Quick thoughts on first touchdown scorer, just overall in general.
Well, I hit it last week with the Patriots and Sony Michel, so I'm probably going to go back to the well again with Sony Michel or James White. I think in terms of first touchdown, it just depends on how you want to go with the narrative. There's not a lot of value with Gurley on that, but I think Gurley or CJ Anderson, I think rolling with a running back early in the game when both teams want to establish the run, both teams want to play power football early in the game where you don't have to worry about having to throw or the clock being a factor. I think either team's running backs is probably the way I'd go.
Brett, what do you think about first touchdown scorer?
Yeah, but this is one of the ones I talked about with Gurley earlier, and it lines up with what Matt was talking about with the Patriots deferring the kickoff. If the Rams get the ball first, they're more likely to score first. So yeah, give me the guy who's going to score 2 touchdowns in this game to score the first.
I like it. All right, Gurley sitting here at plus 700 on DraftKings. He is sitting over here at plus 700 as well over on FanDuel. So either one, whichever place you want to go with that. In years past, I would have made an advocate. I would have been an advocate of Tom Brady at plus 3,100 over on FanDuel and way down here at plus 4,500 over on DraftKings. But with the way that they have now that they have Sony Michel, like, the 1 yard lunge from Tom Brady used to be a real thing. And we've seen less and less of that because they do have Sony Michel now. And Peralt, you can probably attest to this because we've sat here, time and time again going like, oh, here comes the Brady sneak. But I saw even just a couple of times during the playoffs here where we thought the Brady sneak was coming and they gave it to Sony Michel. So I think that maybe the days of the Tom Brady insta 1 yard maybe be behind us.
And Rex Burkhead, don't. I mean, down deep in the red zone against the Chiefs, that was the frustrating point for Patriot fans when they were going for it on 4th down and 3rd down and short, and they're giving it to Burkhead. So Josh McDaniels, for whatever reason, has got a thing for Rex Burkhead right now, and Sexy Rexy is getting the ball in key moments. So, maybe if you want a flyer, what's Rex Burkhead for first touchdown?
Rex Burkhead for first touchdown is, let's see. Oh, he's way down here at 1,000 on DraftKings. So plus 1,000. That's, I don't know. That doesn't seem long enough for me, huh? And 1,100 over there on FanDuel.
Yeah, just give me Michelle if I'm going that route.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you're just not getting that much more, and it's just so much more likely to be Michelle than any of than these other guys. I think the only other one that you mentioned, I think the only other one that really does a long shot that kind of makes a little bit of sense is you mentioned Cordell Patterson earlier being used as a running back. Peralt, like I can see them being on like the 3-yard line and doing like a jet sweep thing with Cordell Patterson or something like that, and like down there and like getting like a 3-yard type touchdown play. He's plus 3,900 over there on FanDuel. And plus, and so way better over there on FanDuel, plus 2,800 over there on DraftKings. So, way better odds over there on FanDuel, plus 3,900. look, we've seen him, we've seen them give him, we've seen them even with all 3 running backs healthy, give him like 3 carries a game. So,
the one narrative kind of going to your point with this is that, so Patriots have rabbit ears for everything, and McDaniels is no different. And everyone's saying Sean McVay is an offensive mastermind and genius, and look at the play calls, and he goes for it on 4th down and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to put it past McDaniels to have something really screwy happen in this game and have a crazy wild play call or two. Everyone's talking about the fake punt attempt coming, and will somebody else besides a quarterback throw a pass? And everyone's betting the yes because of Hecker and his ability to throw the football. But I think don't put it past the Patriots to get quirky too. A couple of years ago, Edelman threw a pass. Last year, Edelman threw a pass. That was the Brady drop on the Philly special. The Patriots have run kind of wacko plays before, so I don't think it's that bad of an idea to throw a Hail Mary at somebody.
All right, guys, we have gone over a ton of different props here. And again, we only scratched the surface. There are literally hundreds of these things between the two sites. If you want to keep digging, definitely do that. There's cross sport props. There's a tab on DraftKings for novelty props. You can take a look at those. Of course, we talked about the color of Gatorade, but of course, there's will Rob Gronkowski retire after the game? Will Tom Brady retire after the game? There's all these, things like that are going on here. So be sure and take a look at those. And again, use these as fun. Use these to enhance the game. Don't blow a bunch of money. You can blow a bunch of money on them. Don't blow a bunch of money on a single prop, to where the one thing doesn't happen towards the beginning of the game, and then you hate yourself and you hate the game and you can't have fun the rest of the time. So definitely just chop it up and give you some props that you could still be drawing live even when you get into the 4th quarter here. So some of the yardage props, reception props, different things like that, you can still be drawing live on some of those or whatever. But be sure and temper your expectations when it comes to how many of these props you're going to be winning here. Guys, we will be back on this very channel. Complete game breakdown. We're going to come at you on Sunday live with all of our final thoughts, final line movements, how things are going, any of the trends we're hearing coming out of Vegas, New Jersey, Mississippi, wherever it might be, even Pennsylvania. This will be the first time Pennsylvania. Of course, it's only land based there. There's no mobile, but still they'll be betting in Pennsylvania. So anything we hear coming out of these various states, we will be sure and share with you and hopefully help you make an educated bet, an educated decision on how you want to play this game. Please hit the subscribe button down below. You'll get notified of everything we do. Give us a thumbs up on this thing and let us know in the comments if any of these props we talked about are things that you guys want to play, or if there's something we missed, and we'll certainly take a look at it along the way. Guys, talk to you guys tomorrow on this very channel.